on the heat. My people are not fools on the heat. You must let my people go, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free my people's hands, so we can rule our purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. England is governed by the Englishmen, America governed by the Americans, and of course, Africa wants to be governed by Africans. Of course, Ambazonia too wants to be governed by Ambazonians and not by some colonial masters, neo-colonial masters in the name of La République du Cameroon. Good evening and welcome to ABS Africa Broadcasting Service, coming to you by way of the Anchorman. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all of you tuning in from ground zero, from ground one, from everywhere across the globe. And all of you, of course, joining from the diaspora. You in the diaspora. We got some good news coming to you for all of you in the diaspora, but I am not bringing that news today. I'm going to be bringing that news at the weekend. That is on Friday and Sunday, when we have a very special fundraiser for ABS. That is on Friday and on Sunday. Again, special news to all of you in the diaspora. ABS will be coming to your home on television, not by Facebook or YouTube, on television. I'm going to be telling you how, but that will be on Friday. Again, thank you for tuning in. Welcome from Europe, welcome from the continental USA, welcome from the South America, from the near and the far east, whoever divided the east. And of course, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, tuning in from ground one, our refugees out there. May God continue to bless you, to protect you and deliver you. But again, most especially our fighting force out there, referring to the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, who are putting their lives on the line and defending Ambazonia with their own flesh and life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Now, in the next 5 minutes, let's get the numbers jumping on Facebook. I'm going to be having an interesting discussion tonight with Ellie Smith. From La République du Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think he prides himself to be an Ambazonian. I'm going to be asking him actually where he is from. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to see the numbers jumping out there. And I'd like you to know, here at ABS, we are not afraid of bringing anybody here, because we are well able to handle any guest that we bring here. And do not be mistaken, when we bring guests or bring some programming here, it is not because we endorse what they say. Sometimes what they say becomes education for all of us, and it can then be used to go after our enemy. That is why we bring some of those characters here on the ABS, and program shows like the one that we carried at the weekend in the Stuttgart, Germany, by the Honorable Joseph Weber. I saw all your comments. I read all your comments. I saw all your fury, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, we're going to be taking care of that in the days ahead. We're going to be taking care of that in the days ahead. Go ahead, hit your share button, and let me see those of you who have joined to be on board and know what is in your mind. Please hit your share button. Hit your share button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get going. I want to see in the next 5 minutes, let us get at least 700 people. Let us get at least 700 people. I can see my guest is locked on or locked in. I don't see the audio. Ellie, if you can make a little noise over there, let me see whether you can, I can see your audio meter running. No, I can't hear you. I can't see you. Oh, good. Perfect. Good. All right, great. Let me see, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who have tuned in and see what is in your mind. But let me say this once more. We brought in the Honorable Joseph Weber, which at this moment I really don't know whether I should call him honorable. But going by what he did in Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, I think he deserves it then. Today, I don't know. I will leave that for you to decide. But he was in Stuttgart, Germany over the weekend. I must say, personally, I was disappointed from what I heard from Honorable Weber. I thought Honorable Weber was going to Stuttgart, Germany to formally, after staying in exile in the diaspora, London, for over 3 years, doing absolutely nothing that no one saw for the struggle. I thought Honorable Weber was going to come out to say, fellow Ambazonians, the moment has come for me to step in and walk with you and support you and get you to stand with me so that we take this struggle to another level. I did not hear that. I heard the condemnation of the interim government. I heard the condemnation of every group that is out there. I heard the mention of about 5 or 10 internet governments, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the language that I expected from Honorable Weber. And again, it was a real disappointment out there in Stuttgart, Germany. But in the days ahead, I'm going to be coming to present a talking point, a monologue on the Honorable Weber's lecture in Stuttgart, Germany. Now, again, let me see those of you who have joined. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hit that share button very quickly so I can come to you with this special presentation. Hit your share button and get everyone on board. Let them know the anchor man is here. Now I see, I need my glasses here. Though they are broken, I'm just gonna manage it to read. Okay, I see. Ruzolo, Dora, I was disappointed in the Honorable Weber. There you go. Inquiring Freedom, welcome Secretary Chris. Say something about the Bui Unity Warriors. They are doing a great job. Okay. Gina Funga, I see you, ma'am. Mado Moni joining from Berlin, Germany. Destiny, new country, I see you. Oh, yes. I was very disappointed. I guess you are referring to the meeting of Weber. The meeting of Weber at the weekend. I see Clovis Inchi. God bless you. Bobga, retire Esther. The great man is around again. Thank you, Secretary Chris. Thank you, ma'am. I see Sarah White. Said, God bless you. I am Manyo. Welcome, our great anchor man. I see also Mercy Freedom. Greetings, Communication Secretary. Thank you. Formuso Augustine Brown. Good evening. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please, I need to see the numbers jumping within the next 5 minutes. Within the next 5 minutes, I need to see the numbers jumping, and please do that quickly. Martin Neighbor, I see you. You are a great hero. Secretary Chris, all right. Mume, Darga, Napoleon, remain strong. Secretary Chris, don't mind the detractors. They're always there, right? Never got to worry about them. You know that. I see also Mercy Freedom, 95% disappointed with Honorable Weber. Okay, Taya Innocent Weyi, joining from Ground Zero, Fako County, wonderful. Vanessa Avara says the anchor man is live. Hold the guest for Yikanas. All right. Jolly Jojo, great to have you there. AB Nixon, welcome on board. Secretary Chris, Jack McDavid, hi, the Lion Man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please, I need to see the numbers jumping. If you have just joined, go ahead and hit your share button. Let us quickly populate the platform. And while you do so, I need to do some housekeeping before I bring in my guest for tonight. I'm going to be having, ladies and gentlemen, as my very special guest tonight, the one and only Ellie Smith. Ellie Smith joining me from La République du Cameroon. He is full with insight of what is going on in the body politics of La République du Cameroon, and he will be, I guess, educating us as to why La République du Cameroon would not go in for negotiation, why the Grand National Dialogue is not yielding results, and many other things. So please go ahead and hit your share button before we get there. Now, before we get there, let me bring you again these headlines here. Ambazonia, ladies and gentlemen, has been shut down. It began today, Monday. I know it's late on Ground Zero. As I speak, it's over 8 p.m. Actually going to 9 p.m. on Ground Zero as I come to you. But let me announce once more, Ground Zero is shut down. A few minutes ago, I came up with an audio message that I really would love if you received it. Please make sure that everybody, every family, friend on Ground Zero gets that piece of message. And this is a message. And this message is not just so that we can have a successful lockdown. It is what is happening. Now, a few days ago, La République du Cameroon sent out a statement announcing the beginning of 20th May festivities to start on May the 17th. That is tomorrow, Tuesday, tomorrow. Instead of the usual 20th May, just 20th of May, they move festivities to begin nationwide on the 17th, meaning tomorrow. Now, they did not only do that. Now, this is exactly the statement coming from them. Excuse me. This is a statement that La République du Cameroon sent out a few days ago, announcing the beginning of 20th May commemorations on Tuesday, that is tomorrow, the 17th, instead of the 20th May proper. Now, the statement reads, within the framework of activities marking the 50th edition of the National Day in Bamenda, I have the honor to request you to mobilize all schools in Bamenda 1, 2, and Bamenda 3 subdivisions to actively take part in the launching of the National Day on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. On Tuesday, they say, May the 22nd at 8 a.m. at the military stadium, and in the March Pass on the 20th May 2022 at the Commercial Avenue Grandstand. Schools should come along, they say, with a national flag. Which flag? They mean Ambazonia flag or which flag? Well, Ambazonia is not showing up. So they should come with a national flag, signpost, and also designate a representative to take the attendance of participants. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, to do what? Take the attendance of participants. They are essentially trying to force everybody to show up at that grandstand. The entire secondary education community is therefore expected to mobilize and take part massively during this year's edition. All participants are mandatorily expected to respect the COVID-19 barrier measures, especially the wearing of the face mask in compliance with the norms prescribed by the Ministry of what? I can't read that. The Ministry of Health and Partners. The Ministry of Health and Partners, fellow Ambazonians. So instead of the regular 20th May, it will be the 17th, starting tomorrow, the 17th. They are calling on school children and whoever they can lay hands on to show up and participate in the commemoration. Now, they are also calling for a registration. As I said a few minutes ago, about an hour ago, I put out an audio message to the effect that French Cameroon has also now deployed soldiers all over major towns and cities in Ambazonia, talking about Bamenda, Victoria, Tiko, Mutengene, Boya, Munya, Moyoka, Kumba, Mamfe, Kumbo, and Bamenda, of course. They have deployed soldiers, most of them in civil, in these towns and cities, and their mission, their mission is, they said, to pick up Amba restoration fighters, pick up or arrest Ambazonia restoration fighters when they come across them. Now, we all know that they are not going to pick up any Ambazonia restoration fighters. What we know, what we have learned is that any young man or woman they find on the street, they will pick them up. And you know what it means. When they pick you up in that damn country, they are taking you to prison. If they don't take you to prison, they torture you to death. And if they don't torture you to death and they have to release you, they take a chunk of money out of you. They make you go poor for the rest. Your family go poor for the rest of his life. So again, we are passing this information to everybody out there in Bamenda, in Kumbo, in Jakiri, in Dob, in Bali, in Motengene, in Victoria, in Kumba, in Mamfe, in Tiko, Munyoka, every town and city in Ambazonia. Please, ladies and gentlemen, stay away from the roads, stay away from any business beginning tomorrow, Tuesday through Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, stay away. If a stray bullet doesn't pick you, La République du Cameroon may arrest you, and when they arrest you, I bet you will pay. You will pay. You don't pay, your family will pay. I do not think you want to put your family in that danger. That is what lies ahead, within the days ahead. Now, besides that, we are asking every Ambazonian to take note of lockdown. We're not going to see any taxis on the street. We're not going to see any Okadas. We're not going to see any shops open. We're not going to see any schools. Now, this is very, very important. We learned that this college in Quen, Bamenda, is it called a comprehensive college or comprehensive high school, is actually forcing students to come to school. We are warning the principal of comprehensive college. I don't know what other name is, but is in Bamenda. Please stay away. Do not put students' lives in danger. You want to open the doors of your school, you are free to do so, but know that there may be consequences. There may be consequences. We have shut down all of Ambazonia beginning tomorrow, Tuesday the 17th through Friday the 20th at 6 p.m. through to 6 p.m. on Friday. So please, the administrators of Comprehensive College in Bamenda, please, I hope you hear me. We are looking out for you. And of course, this applies to every other school that wants to open the doors and force students to come to school or to go out marching on Bamenda Commercial Avenue. Please, we are taking note of any school that shows up, on the Bamenda Commercial Avenue, that school will come down. And I mean it. You can cut this audio and put it out there to whosoever you want to. Any school that shows up on the Bamenda Commercial Avenue, anywhere in Victoria, in Kumba, in Manfe, every town and city, we will take note. We will take note of those schools and we will shut them down. This 20th May will not be a joke, unlike any other. It will not be a joke. We will enforce this lockdown to the letter. And so every educational institution out there in both zones, please, and parents, please listen to the sound of my voice. We don't want your children to become victims of this struggle. Please, we're asking you, let your children stay home. They should not venture to any classroom within Tuesday and Friday. Again, they should not venture into any classroom or any public occasion. Those schools that open their doors will be shut down until this war is over. You should remember the example of Nacho. What happened to Nacho Comprehensive in the 90s? When they entered into the politics of La République du Cameroon, you all know Nacho has never recovered. Has never recovered. And if you are out there in the business of education, especially in the private institutions, we are passing this message to you. Do not get under any intimidation by colonial officials out there and send people's children out there to go and die. Some will die if they go out. So please take this very, very seriously. All right? And we have also learned that some teachers are there organizing common entrance on Tuesday. Organizing common entrance on Tuesday. We have asked, if you have to conduct your common entrance, put it next week. Nothing holds this week. And if any taxi, any bus, any private cars found carrying anybody going for common entrance, going for any public manifestation, well, you know what the result will be. I just thought I should bring you these updates. Again, stay home, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a threat, but listen, we have to enforce this. We really have to enforce this, and I needed to bring this to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will now bring to you my guest for today, and I have a very important guest joining me today. Now, before I bring him in, I just like to give you a little updates here as to who he is. We're all aware. No, before I get there, I'm sorry, I take one more item. Something is going on in Mbalangi. Now, you all know, if you are familiar with the territory, Mbalangi is in the Kumba. Mbalangi is in Kumba, ladies and gentlemen. We have learned and seen footages of dozens of what we call blacklegs and enablers picked up by Ambazonia Restoration Forces. And I'd like you to take a look at the images before I bring you my commentary on that subject. Please take a look at them.
2022, we didn't have a Balangi here. With the civilian, they were the no one amber for Balangi. So we don't come for here because of security. We will go to some particular people. We give Balangi people, even to the least person, whether an innocent person. We give them 1 week. Say no money to go books, no store to open inside Balangi. All man will stay inside house. Buy a chair, remember inside house. No man to travel. If any man travel inside books or any man open his store, we go Nakanai to and no good for you. We don't come today with peacekeeping mission. Or they build there for Balangi. They join the attack. So they jump one person or one general. Naki, Giwun. So the Gidi one is so the message for all the people of Balangi. No store, we know what I say me open. 1 week, no store they open, no money going to farm. Oh, money for I no money track.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't they look like a professional army out there? Look at them. Look at them. Don't look at those guys defending Ambazonia. Do they look any different from a professionally trained army? Of course not. But I like what they are doing there now. You can see they are not torturing those civilians. They are merely warning them, prescribing some punishment to them for trying to betray them. Now, we have said this here again and again and again, and this is a policy here at this interim government. We have no doubt that there are rooks fighters out there calling themselves Ambazonia restoration fighters. We know those ones are there. Of course, they are there. The bad eggs, we call them. However, the idea that any person, any group in any community would want to betray these guys who have offered their lives to defend their own country, their own territory, is something that we will never accept. And so we stand by these guys who are defending their country and also taking measures to make sure that blacklegs and enablers are arrested and disciplined. And so we would like to pass this warning out there. We saw this before in Oku. We saw this before, I think, some time ago in Mbonge and other places. Now we're seeing it here in Mbalange, where the restoration forces are actually arresting these fellows, ladies and gentlemen. We want La Republique and their agents, enablers, blacklegs as these ones that you see here, to know that we stand. This interim government stands fully behind, in support of these restoration fighters trying to bring discipline into these communities. We will stand equally up against them. It will find them torturing, find them kidnapping and taking ransoms from civilians. We will condemn it. But when it comes to blacklegs and enablers, no mercies. We have no mercies at all for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will now take you into this broadcast proper and welcome my guests into the studio. I'm talking about, again, Ellie Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Ellie Smith is a very familiar face in the politics of La République du Cameroon. He is certainly not a politician. He is a commentator, he is a reporter, he is a journalist. But he has seen almost everything that has taken place in that country. And I think it's a privilege to have him to tell us what exactly is going on in La République du Cameroon from the Grand National Dialogue. Grand National Dialogue, ladies and gentlemen, that was meant to, end the war, bring the war to an end, to the Swiss initiative. Why is La République du Cameroon not willing to sit on table to negotiate, to dialogue with Ambazonians? I guess Ellie Smith will have some insight into these events. Ellie Smith, sir, it's a pleasure to have you joining me here at ABS. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am pleasantly surprised that I am a guest today.
Pleasantly surprised. Well, that is interesting. But listen, I am quite glad to have you as a guest. We're going to have a really cordial conversation in the course of this. And I really hope that we really hold it cordial. So, let's start with this. You describe, I want to present this clip for you to take a look. This is a statement you made in about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, that is this struggle is now, this conflict is now 5 years and counting. You made this statement at somehow about 1 year into the conflict. Take a listen, please. Take a listen.
Mistake of this government, I will not say something extraordinary. Any honest and patriotic Cameroonian know that this is one of the most incompetent regimes that we have within the sub-region, and that they, almost like any dictatorial regimes, want to control sport because they know sports, like football in most of our third world countries, is the opium of the people. So they want to manipulate it. They want to put people at the helms of it, people whom they think will be loyal to them. That's the reason why they are in. And so the dictatorial regime of Paul Biya is no more different. Don't you find it a kind?
The dictatorial regime of Paul Biya is no longer different. So 4 years ago, Ellie, you described Paul Biya as a dictator. Of course, you were right. Everybody knows, it's not strange in anybody's lips that Paul Biya is a dictator. But I was surprised. Nobody has ever touched you. Now, do you still believe Paul Biya is a dictator?
Well, there are times you make statements and you turn behind and look at it. I think that is not what we have to talk about. What we think is, what is the state of the country today? Is Cameroon what our forefathers wanted it to be? Surely not, because we wanted a country which is secular, democratic, respect of basic human rights. And Cameroon is a young country, it's relatively young to other older countries. So the journey to become a liberal democracy is synonymous to that of a journey of 1,000 miles. So I think we still have a long way to go.
I'm sorry though. When you say that we shouldn't talk about that today, are you saying that, Paul Biya is still a dictator?
Well, I'll try to put in some nuances in it. And I think we don't want to have any fixation on people. My own point is, are we what we wanted this country to be? I think collectively we will say without any blink of an eye that no. I want us to talk. I think what we have to talk is the state of the country. Do I need to be describing things? No, I think it is a matter. It was like a poem. The author said what he said. Everybody can do his or her own interpretations.
When you talk about the state of the country, we are essentially talking about the state of the country because of what the dictators and his allies have made the country to be, to become, isn't it?
Well, I think we are all Cameroonians. If there is a problem today in this country, we have to individually and collectively assume
you are
it.
A Cameroon, I'm Amazonian, correct? You are a Cameroonian,
Ambazonia.
I am Ambazonian. Even though
we
I
are
didn't hear
now we can decide.
Yes, go on.
We are all Cameroonians. We can decide.
You in your circle, you will not include Chris Ano there as a Cameroonian because I've been defending Ambazonia for the last 5.5 years.
No, we know, and you know that you are Cameroonian. Now, in a country like ours,
I can take that out of your mind. Your opinion is good for you.
Of course, I appreciate you respect my opinion. I respect yours. I think refute, and I can understand that some children of this family are angry and decide that today I'm no longer to be, that I can understand that some people may decide that they are not Cameroonians. That is not a problem. But we know pretty well that we are all Cameroonians. Is Cameroon perfect? No. Has Cameroon gotten problems? Yes. Can it be improved? Yes, it can be improved with the collective help of all of us.
Now, you know that the war has, by the way, do you consider this war a crisis? Do you call this a war?
I consider it a war. No,
I
consider it a war. When
you consider
I consider it to be a war.
Good.
Yeah, we are at war. We are at war. Anybody who thinks the contrary, I think, well, I consider there is a war going on, and a war is a crisis, but we are at war.
No, so the war has been going on for 5 years and counting right now. And La République du Cameroon has done everything except the one thing they should be doing, which is sitting on the dialogue table to discuss or to decide on this form of state with Amazonia. You look at Ukraine from day number one that Russia waged war against Ukraine. They were on the conference table negotiating how they can end it. Even now, it is suspended. But you know that from day number one, Ukraine and Russia, they were meeting and sitting on the conference table to discuss possible means to peace. You have a lot of experience dealing with the political class over there. What has it been so hard for them to say, let's sit down and talk to the people that matter in this conflict?
Well, I think we have to be honest with each other. The government has been trying to negotiate or dialogue from day one. Now, is it the format that others would have wanted? But you will see that, for example, you talked about the major national dialogue. I think it was the apex of all the minor and major dialogue or initiatives that were taking place, that the grand finale was at the major national dialogue. The other problem that we must admit is this. You know, the problem that our other brothers have is that they have a
when you say our other brothers, who are you referring to? The Francophones?
I'm referring to people, our other disgruntled brothers, like those who have decided to push the button further by taking up arms, and by also at one point, which I think it will be corrected, decided that they are no longer part of the family, and they have a bewildering array of camps, which is also almost impossible to entertain and talk with them. For example, if you want to talk to, let's say,
so are you saying that, I'm sorry. So are you saying that the Grand National Dialogue, as they call it, would have preferred to speak to the armed groups and not to the political leadership? Is that what you are saying?
No, that's what I know. That is not what I'm saying. The major national dialogue was a reunion of all sons and daughters of the country. In particular, those who openly and courageously manifested their discontent. And if I'm not wrong, all of them were invited. And if I'm not wrong again, when they were invited to take part, they decided not to take part, but decided to go to Switzerland. Had it been they took part, I think they would have been able to make their contribution known.
Now, when you say they choose to go to Switzerland, did you really think that any of us would come to Yaoundé, considering the security situation in that country? Were you really expecting that? In other words, why could La République not just think of, if they really meant it, looking for a way to resolve the conflict. Just say, okay, they are not comfortable coming to Yaoundé to hold this meeting. Let's meet them halfway. Let's meet them somewhere. Why couldn't they just do this and send a message to the world that they really want to resolve this conflict?
No, I think except Cameroon government is so stupid. If they issued an invitation for you people to come and you people came, nothing would have happened to any one of you. I'll give you an example. It is not in Cameroon. Let me give you one example. There's one gentleman, he's now not of this world. His name is Bernard Polelas. When Sassou Nguesso decided to organize a similar organization or reunion, he thought that Bernard Polelas was not to attend. But Bernard Polelas bought his air ticket. Then he was living in Abidjan. And you know what happened? What happened was that the airport in Brazzaville was closed. So I think we need to learn from the mistakes of what other people did. Another reason why Denis Sassou Nguesso won the war and Lissouba lost was that when both adversaries were invited in Libreville for a negotiation, Sassou Nguesso, who was the belligerent then, attended. Lissouba decided not to, but invited Jonas Savimbi to Point Noir for a National Day ceremony. So I think it is a mistake, a colossal one, and which we all have to, we will all regret it as time goes on. If there's an opportunity to dialogue, don't forsake it. You either come or you designate people to participate. Because if you had come at the major dialogue, which was able to produce its signature project, which is the special status, you would have been able to express your opinion and your reservation, and that at the end of it, something will come out that will be far more better than what we have today.
Now, when
but
you
I think it's a mistake that our brothers and sisters did not come.
When you call it a colossal mistake, that it was made, somebody who is not familiar to the grand national dialogue or major national dialogue, as you call it, would want to think that, it was a great success, and if separatists were not too belligerent, they would have made some gains. It wasn't so, isn't it? Because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, what have we gained from the grand national dialogue? Look at Bamenda. Bamenda lies in ruins. You will believe that. In fact, I will read you a quote that you put somewhere, my brother. Bamenda lies in ruins. Bamenda, they went into Bamenda and said they were widening the streets in Bamenda 1 month. They didn't get into 1 month, they abandoned Bamenda. Ever since this struggle started, there has been no access road into Bamenda. Even when that road literally cut into two, they carry caterpillars, put them on the roads, and made people to believe, they were coming the next day to fix the roads. Nothing has happened. Bamenda is abandoned. You would really think that if grand national dialogue was serious to meet the needs of Amazonians, they will pick these needy areas and immediately be sensitive enough to attend to those problems. They have done nothing. Now, I don't want to talk about the ring road, the seaport, and all those yesteryear's projects. What has a national dialogue achieved? The regional house, the so-called House of Chiefs. What new have these brought to the people?
Okay. What?
I think you are frozen.
Most of all,
I can hear you now. Go
can
on.
Can you hear me? Can I go on?
I can hear you now.
Yes. I wanted to point out this. The major success of the major national dialogue first is the fact that it has vindicated what most of us have long been clamoring for it, even though it was short of all what we wanted. One, we of the Anglophone General Conference, for example, wanted that there should be a pre-meeting of the Anglophones of the Northwest and Southwest regions before a major jamboree or major meeting of all Cameroonians, because even though we have specific problems, but there are other problems that we have that also overlaps into the other 8 regions. First, so it was a vindication because it came, one, to prove that contrary to what some
I will stop you a
individuals.
little bit there when you say it was vindication, because it didn't appear like you of the federal movement had any vindication. You will recall that when Frundi stood up and speak, he was and mentioned federation, he was booed. Karina Tumi was booed. Simon Monzu was booed. When they all tried, even Agobala also was booed when they all tried mentioning federation. They were all booed. So I don't know. You did not succeed to do anything there.
No, no, we succeeded. Being
What did you
bullied,
succeed to
booed.
do?
No, first, what we succeeded in doing was that is to speak freely and then come out with what is called the what I refer to as a signature program of that dialogue was the special status. First of all, being booed or heckled is part of democracy. You are how parliamentary discussion takes place at the British Parliament or where you are in the United States. People are heckled,
Comrade,
people are booed. It doesn't
this
mean
was a
anyone.
little different. This was a little different from parliamentary debate. As you know, we are not talking about the British Parliament or the House of Commons. We are talking about something that was meant to profess solutions, to in a conflict. What solutions did they
Yes,
come out with?
yes, no, they came out with solutions. The
What
solutions,
are
you kind of
they?
mentioned it somewhere, but I think, yes, the solution, first of all, is that if there weren't any major national dialogue, we would not have a special status. And in the special status is akin to what happens to Scotland or Northern Ireland. You know, a country has the constitution or the construction of a country is dynamic, it is not static. Remember, it was in, I think, in May 1707 that England and Scotland united. It was also, I think, in 1801 that England united.
I think I lost you there. I think I lost your connection. I hope you can still hear me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us hope that he is able to reconnect as soon as possible. But I would like to do some commentary on the referring to the special status as some progress, some success that came out from the so-called Grand National Dialogue. Special status for who? The question that every Southern Cameroonian and Bazonian asks out there is whether sitting in Yaoundé, anybody has the right to give Ambazonians some special status. Does anybody have the right in Yaoundé to do so? Of course not. So the idea that special status was a success, special status that is not being implemented everywhere, and even if it were implemented, it doesn't change anything. It changes nothing, because if it were to change anything, you will have the right actors on the table deciding exactly upon what should be done. The right actors were not on table. The leaders of Ambazonia were not on table. And so the idea that special status was some success, absolutely not. Ellie, if you can hear me, the best thing you want to do is log out and log back in. Just log out and log back in. If you can hear me, log out, log back in, and that should be fine, I believe. Unfortunately, the kind of network you have in that country is not one that one can always rely on, but I hope that you are able to reconnect. So, ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for Ellie Smith to reconnect, I want to bring you some other information that came in to us today. Let me talk about some information that came to us, that came to me today, and I'm going to link this up to what this interim government has done as far as taking back our accounts from the Sako regime are concerned. Now I want to say that today I received a package. I received a package from Sako government, or so-called government, ladies and gentlemen, being sued. They say the plaintiff there is Ambazonia Foundation. Ambazonia Foundation is the plaintiff. Now you know that Sako's name will never feature anywhere. His name will never, ever feature anywhere. So I received this certified mail from somewhere, Ekome Sako, suing yours truly. Now, I guess this is actually coming late. I think this was supposed to come the same time that one was sent to Richard Tangu, the treasurer, Blaise Che, and Frida Ashu, John Egiawan, Edwin Monono, because I see they are all listed. They are all listed in this damn so-called suit. This is dated May the 12th, just a few days ago. I think this should be new. This should actually be new. You will recall that 2 weeks ago they sent out letters to our treasury members. To to surrender the accounts of the interim government to Ambazonia Foundation. They said that has to be done within 7 days. 7 days, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is what happened within 7 days. Within the 7 days. Oh, this is Ellie Smith calling me. Let me take a brief break out and get Ellie Smith. Hello. Connection problem here, Ellie. I can't, you are not connected. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Sako's lawyers sent out a statement to our treasurer, Richard Tangu, and others, asking them to surrender Ambazonian accounts to the Sako pseudo government, and in 7 days, Richard and the rest of the Treasury Board members were able to utilize it in a very effective, efficient way by taking back the last account, interim government account, that was still in keeping by the impeach and remove Samuel Ikome Sako. Okay, listen to me carefully. They gave them 7 days. Their lawyers gave the Treasury Board members 7 days to return the accounts, the Ambazonian accounts, your accounts, ladies and gentlemen, to return it in 7 days. Now, what they did was return that account. What they did was, instead of returning those accounts, they went after the last one. They went after the last account that was still in the column of the use of the pseudo government of Samuel Ikome Sako. So I come to you with good news. Good news. And the good news is this, that as of this moment that I speak to you, all bank accounts belonging to you, the people of Ambazonia that Samuel Ikome Sako was trying to hijack, they have all been taken back into the government that is led by Iya Marienta. Ladies and gentlemen, I think somebody out there should give her some thumbs up for fighting hard and taking back every single bank account that belongs to this interim government from Samuel Ikome Sako and his Bitcoiners out there. So yes, they used the 7 days to retrieve the last account, and your money was in there. How much was in there, I cannot say right now, but we know that your money was still in there. So you can imagine what is going on that side. I hope that Ochiba hears this and know that his government is dead, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what should be happening over there now. We have retrieved all the bank accounts that belongs to you, the people of Ambazonia. CID online bank account is also in our column. The federal government website is also in our column. Sako and his gang have been stripped of everything except A, B, C, and I can assure them, they have written here calling me to come to court and tell them why I should not take off my hands over A, B, C. Now, when I get to court, I will tell them why A, B, C doesn't belong to any of them. A, B, C belongs to Ambazonia people under Ambazonia Foundation, and thank God the plaintiff here is Ambazonia Foundation, not Sako, not Martin Mungwa, not Eric Ate, not Milichi, not Aringwa. It doesn't belong to any of them. It belongs to all of you out there, ladies and gentlemen. And so I am really excited receiving this letter, looking forward to show up to let Samuel Ikome Sako know that he thinks, con people, they think that they're smart a lot. They are not. But thank God Ellie Smith is able to join me back. Ellie, thank you for being able to make it back. So I can understand the difficulties with network over there in that damn country. Thank you for getting back. But let's get back to the subject. You were talking about the success of the so-called Grand National Dialogue in the passing of the special status. I mean, it will make sense if special status is actually, if there is something. I mean, let me put it this way. What do we have to show for special status after 2 problems and a half years? What do we have to show for it when you call it a success?
Yeah, what I want to point out is, for example,
yes,
the special status came up with the House of Chiefs and the local parliaments, and then the presidents of the regional assemblies of the Northwest and Southwest regions have executive powers. We have the ombudsman, or what the public conciliator. We have the commissioner for education, which means we have control of our educational system. That is a progress. And even the legal aspect. And if you could recall, it is because the educational system of these two regions were being tampered with. That was the reason why lawyers and teachers went down the street peacefully to ask that, in respect of the constitution of this country, the French and English language should be at par, at the same footing. So with the special status, those are what have been achieved. And I think it's something that we need to congratulate, encourage those who had the courage to participate and gave their all for such to come out. But as I was saying, there is nothing that a human being does that is perfect. So the special status is there. It's a working document. It is subject to improvement.
Yeah, I hear you, but there is a big problem there. Ellie, you have lived in that country and you have done some wonderful journalism as far as reporting is concerned. You have listened to every diplomat out there, listen to the international media, and they will tell you that this conflict started over started with teachers taking to the streets, our lawyers beating on the street, protesting the legal system. Be it grand national dialogue or special status hasn't resolved this going to 6 years.
No, a point of correction. It is trying to improve it. I remember I told you it will be dishonest on my part and on the part of anybody who thought the major national dialogue will be held and like a magic wand, everything will be over. The major national dialogue was a success in itself because it came to show that, contrary to what some individuals felt estimated, there is a lingering Anglophone problem.
This is what I will consider success, comrade. This is what I will consider success, because when teachers take to the street and complain about the educational system, especially having French teachers in English classrooms, what stopped the government in Yaoundé passing a decree, as they know how to do, and say, if you speak French in English, Anglophone classroom, leave the classroom, return to Bafoussam, return to Mbunda, Douala, or Yaoundé? And what stopped them from saying, if you were in any courtroom in Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon, presiding over, speaking in French as a procureur, or they call it gouverneur, le gouvernement, or something, those terminologies. What stopped them? These are things that happen just by decree. What stopped them from saying, hey, withdraw? We are instituting the Anglo-Saxon educational system and legal system, common law system in the Southern Cameroon. Why couldn't they just do this? At least it will be face saving to say that they are trying to do something, at least, right? It takes only a decree for them to do that.
No, Chris, I understand. My brother, if I interrupted you, I can understand full well you are not in Cameroon. Please ask another person. There is no courtroom in the Southwest or Northwest today where the presiding judge dishes or discharges or dispenses the rulings in French. Everything is done in English. I'm telling you, I repeat.
I will go with your word only because I cannot
Yes.
confirm it. But how about the teachers, the francophones teaching mathematics and history and physics in classrooms in the Southern Cameroons and Bazonia?
No,
They
it
are
doesn't
still
happen
there, isn't
anymore.
it?
It used to happen before. No, please. I will want you, after talking to me, you are a journalist, you are handling a very important program. Watch beyond Cameroon, it's all over Africa. I would implore you to ask someone else, and you will not see anymore any teacher who doesn't speak English teaching mathematics or teaching any other whatever. It, those who are teaching in English teach English. Now you will French, even though it is diminishing around the world or reducing around the world, but only progressing in French speaking Africa, is an international language. And we cannot refuse our children from learning French as an optional or a major language.
If it
Because
is
that
optional,
French is the
if it is
reason why.
optional, sorry, if it is optional, it is okay. But when you have a teacher in the classroom and cannot even communicate or teach those children in the language they understand. I mean, I'm sure you listened to an audio that came out from the University of Bamenda a few months ago where a French lecturer, a francophone lecturer, could barely pronounce anything that the students could understand, and the students recorded it and put it out there. You heard that. How do you have lecturers like that who cannot communicate with the students they teach to remain in those classes?
Chris, no, Chris, I repeat. Also, let me let you understand something that sometimes people are of bad faith. I can assure you that it cannot happen anymore in the northwest or southwest regions of this country.
But these teachers are still out there, Ellie. These teachers are still out. We are talking about just a few months ago when this audio came out from the University of Bamenda.
No, some people, well, I've not seen that audio, but I doubt it very much. What I know is that there are people who opt to learn French. And I don't want our children not to learn French. Today, Chris.
No. You are misplacing the issue. This is not about learning French. I don't care if anybody chooses to learn French, that is their choice. But coming into a purely Anglo-Saxon educational setting and sending them teachers who understand no other language but French to teach them in a way they can't even understand, don't you see that to be a problem, big problem?
No, I'm sorry, my dear brother, that was before 2016. Now in 2022, 2021, that sort of anomaly doesn't happen anymore, because the government has now understood that you cannot, and it's not even in the interest of the government to do such. We have the special status. If such were to happen, or if it had happened as you claim, or the audio you say was circulating, which I have not seen it, I think was a mistake, but it doesn't happen now. All the teachers in subjects where they used to send French language teachers to teach have been withdrawn and replaced with English speaking teachers. And one other progress that has been done is that at the Advanced School of Magistracy, we have a common law bench already. So there are some progress being done, Chris. The thing is, I would like you to come back home, come to Cameroon, and come to the northwest or southwest and go to the universities of Boya and Bamenda. You will discover that the attempt to drown out English has failed woefully. And this is thanks to all the efforts that all of us collectively have been doing to defend our identity. And on the other hand, the other problem that I have is We should not just have
Ellie,
a
hold on
this.
there. We are still on this
Yes, sir.
language issue. I don't buy
Yes.
it at all for a second when you said all those teachers have been replaced, but let's keep that aside. I know that probably before this show is over, somebody will be calling you and
Yes.
me and telling us it's not over yet, that there are still French speaking teachers in our schools. But how about these French governors in Bamenda, in Boya, these French SDOs? You count the colonial SDOs in all of Amazonia, the 13 counties, you will not find up to 6 English speaking Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians. And you know for your life in that country that it's a policy that Francophone administrators are sent to lord over Southern Cameroonians. How can a Southern Cameroonian sit there and say, okay, assuming they took out the teachers, assuming they took out the procureurs and so on, why can't they have their own indigenous governors elected by them who speak their languages and their so-called colonial officials? Why can't we have English-speaking Ambazonians leading these zones?
Zones. Well, those governors are not colonial. Colonialism ended in Cameroon in 2 phases, one in 1961 and the other one in 1960. Everybody, according to the Constitution of Cameroon, is a Cameroonian and has a right to be posted elsewhere. Now, you say somewhere about the election of governors. I think if you had come and participated at the major national dialogue, perhaps that your idea would have taken place, would have been inscribed and applied. But again, I want to compare.
Did it have to take me leaving America and coming to the damn Yaoundé to tell them that they should have elected governors? Come on. You are an intellectual. You know that you could have said that. Agobala could have said that.
Oh,
Frundi could have said that. Munzu, Kadina Tumi. You were waiting for somebody to come from the diaspora to say that.
Munzu.
I think we're having network issues again with Ellie Smith. Ellie, I see you frozen on the screen. I was loving this conversation. If you can just log out and log back in, if you can hear me, that is the way to go. You log out and you log back in. That will be great. We are monitoring that here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me get back to the subject of the lawsuit that is coming from Samuel Ikome Sako. As I said, I received a letter this morning asking yours truly to show up in court being sued by Ambazonia Foundation. And I was just smiling and laughing and wondering, who is Ambazonia Foundation? Was it owned by some individuals? Or is owned by the people of Ambazonia? Of course, Ambazonia Foundation is Ambazonians. And I can't wait to get to court to find out who stands there to represent Ambazonia Foundation, or rather, Chris Ano. I'm qualified to represent Ambazonia Foundation. You are qualified to represent Ambazonia Foundation. And when it comes to corporate representation, of course, it is Ambazonia Restoration Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Sako is making a grave mistake and he will end up in jail. He will truly end up in jail. I can assure him and the people. Now, what he does, he doesn't put his name on anything. He doesn't put his name on anything. He's putting Victories and a few others to go and show up and defend Ambazonia Foundation. It's going to get down to be really, really bad. Really, really bad. We don't know how somebody thinks that he is impeached and removed and he can sue other people. He can sue other people with what authority? With what authority? What powers? Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying this to let us see the importance of our institution. I was listening to Honorable Weber out there over the weekend condemning the idea of government. Listen, I was there from the beginning. I supported the idea. In fact, I think the idea of government came from me when I was an activist, just like one of you out there. I made that appeal. And I made the appeal based on the fact that you couldn't say you restore your independence, you restore your country, your government, and have no government. Have no government. If you restored your country, then you ought to have put in place a government. That was the argument then. I still stand by it. But the great thing that many people are not seeing about the government is that government has the advantages of these checks and balances. That the president cannot just wake up one day and become an emperor or become a king like Sako was trying to do. Government cannot just wake up, the leader cannot just wake up one day and take decisions that do not favor the struggle. And that is why we have the Restoration Council, we have the Judiciary Council, we have the Ethics Committee, we have the counties, we have the LGAs. These are all checks and balances that bring sanity and order in this interim government. And that is why we also have things like Ambazonia Foundation, so that Ambazonia's money is not entering a single person's hands. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambazonia's foundation and other foundations that run this struggle, they are not owned by any individual or by any group. They are owned by Ambazonia. Samuel Ikomesako will recall that after Sisiko was impeached and removed, Ambazonia Foundation was in the hands of Sisiko treasurers and secretaries. They handed it over. Ladies and gentlemen, they handed it over. And the right thing for Samuel Ikomesako to have done was to just simply, if he wanted to leave in a ways, just simply hand over Ambazonia Foundation, all the foundations, to the legitimate interim government led by Iya Marienta. He did not do that. And now he is looking forward to going to court. I can't wait to get there, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have to know that Diodone, is it Diodone? Is it Diodone in Salai? Yeah. Or is it, yeah, I think it's Diodone. Or is it Manuel Salai? He has tried these cases again and again and again. He just did not succeed. In Sako and this little cabal, the Bitcoiners out there think that they can get us to relinquish legitimate Ambazonian institutions to a little cartel that is led by him. That is not going to happen. And that is a good thing about America, that the law works and the law is on the side of those who are victims. And in this case, Ambazonian people are the victims, but the perpetrators will receive what they deserve. They call for this, they will see it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to announce today that all the bank accounts belonging to your interim government that Sako hijacked, they have now all been retained. Yes. They have all been retained and they are under the control of your interim government led by Iya Marienta. And of course, there is tantrum on the other side. Now you can imagine Ochiba Nelson will be hitting his head on the wall, I believe, by this hour. And I learned that one of them, Patience Abidu, was so mad she went about yelling and shouting, "This is Ambazonia women's money. This is Ambazonia women's money in that account. You have to return it." How about the other money? Was it Ambazonia men's money? Was it Ambazonia men's money? Of course not. The truth is, it is Ambazonia's money. It is Ambazonia's money. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a happy day. It's a happy day, and something is going on overside there. They are not happy. They are left with no dime. I told you, even if we don't take ABC from them, they will have no dime to run ABC. Right now, they have to go raising funds, maybe doing some war drafts to get Sarko's rent paid. They have to go doing that, I guess, to get his rent paid. They have no dime, they have no bank account, and they think that it is over. It isn't over yet. We are still coming. All right, Ellie, thank you for being able to join again. I can understand the nature of the networks there. Thank you, sir. I've forgotten where we stopped.
Thank you, too.
But it was getting really exciting. It was getting really exciting. I asked you about the governors who are out there speaking French in Bamenda and in Boya. The colonial DOs who are out there in Kumba, French, in Victoria, French, in Bamenda, French, everywhere, French. And you say that that the grand national dialogue and the special status was successful? Did anything change?
No, it was successful. The idea of the major national dialogue was not to drive away a part of Cameroon, some Cameroonians from part of the country. We are all Cameroonians. We have our specificities. Now, those our compatriots that you term colonialists, I want to remind you that colonialism ended in Cameroon in two phases: 1961 for Southern Cameroons and 1960 for East Cameroon. So
and it began,
that is not a question.
It ended in 1961 and restarted in 1972. We're going to come to that.
Yes, well, in 1972, as I said, it's like the evolution of a country. We may not all agree how it turned out, but it's part of the evolution of the country. That was the reason why I made a comparison with another major country that all of us know, which is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. That Scotland and England united in 1707, and it was in 1989 that there was a devolution of power for Scotland. The same thing in all over. So things are bound to improve in Cameroon for the better.
Well, if you say bound to improve in Cameroon, I would say, yeah, maybe the better. For Ambazonia, it's a whole different case. If you are talking about both countries, it's a whole different case. Let me remind you of something that you, Cardinal Toomey, and Agbobala, and Dr. Munzu were trying to put together. You call it, I think it was called the All Anglophones. What was the name, please? The right name to that?
Anglophone General Conference.
Anglophone General Conference. Anglophone General Conference, according to you, was meant to bring together all this elite to come sit on the table and decide what their grievances, or as I call it, Anglophone grievances are. Now, you know that most of us here in the diaspora objected to it, and we're going to do everything to make sure it did not happen. Some of you asked why. Dr. Munzu actually went out on TV and said, I was the one who messed it up, who made it not to hold, or something like that. But this is the point. Did it have to take some all Anglophone conference for Anglophones, those of you who are Anglophones, to let the world know what the problems of those Anglophones are. We've had AAC 1, AAC 2. They've been to the United Nations. You were a reporter in those days and you know all of these. What was the need for this all conference when your people are saying they want their own country back and they have actually declared their independence? Was it necessary?
It was necessary. It was necessary because the Anglophone uprising or crisis that has morphed into a full-fledged war now is cyclical. And yes, we have had the AAC1, AAC2, but that was kind of 3 decades ago. The realities have changed. That is the reason why the Anglophone General Conference, initiated by Cardinal Toomey, was that the Anglophones of the Northwest and Southwest region should meet and designate among themselves whom or the person they are going to send for a national dialogue, a national debate, or a national reunion. It was necessary. And we went to the major national dialogue simply because 3/4 of the speech of the President of the Republic announcing the calling for the major national dialogue really jarred with what we wanted. That was the reason why we went there, and we do not regret of having taken part at the major national dialogue. If something similar were to happen again, we will take part.
Now, Ellie, when you say that, I mean, you keep going back to this national dialogue thing. If you say that the Grand National Dialogue was a success, you have put out tweets that are very contradictory to the statement that you make today. I'd like to read one of it to you. Look at this. You wrote, "Do security forces want this crisis to end?" It's a question I'm asking myself. From Nquen to Bambili, you have 11 checkpoints, not checking car documents but collecting CFA 1,000 from transporters. From Bamenda to Indop, you have 18 checkpoints demanding CFA 7,000 from transporters. Ellie, you tweeted this after the Grand National Dialogue. Is that the success of the Grand National Dialogue, that citizens are still harassed by the military and the police and the gendarmes in the manner you describe here?
Oh yes, I understand. I tweeted it and I can tweet it again. Those are kind of peripheral problems which are inherent when there are problems in any country. And if you look at all the tweets, I even tweeted on the roads between Ekok and Bamenda, there are 23 checkpoints. In between those 23 checkpoints, there are 9 amber checkpoints. So those are type of things that happens when there is a problem. But as I said, the major national dialogue was not a magic wand, whereby when we sit and call and talk, the next day everything is solved. The problem of the harassment, the extortion predates the major national dialogue and will live after the major national dialogue. It requires the powers that be to up the ante and fight against some unholy or unwholesome attitude within the security forces. That one has nothing to do, but I don't want to negate it or underestimate it. But I just want to drive in the point that we have a working document, which is the special status. All of us should stand around it and use it as a working document. As far as people aspiring for independence is concerned, there is not going to be 2 independence again. The people of the Northwest and Southwest regions, formerly known as British Southern Cameroons which became West Cameroon after reunification, opted for independence by reunifying with our brethren of East Cameroon. That is concluded. Any
All right,
person
let
who
me stop
is
you a little bit there
kind
because
of
that is a broad
nursing
statement. That's a broad statement that you make there. Do we have any document to prove this independence we're talking about? Have you seen any? You are a researcher, a reporter, a journalist. Have you come across any?
Yes.
Okay.
In 1961, yes, because the reunification or the referendum, yeah, of February, that sanctioned the reunification of British Southern Cameroon to Republic of Cameroon, was supervised by the United Nations. And I don't think the United Nations will come and supervise something which is not standing. I know for
Wait,
so
comrade,
long
it
there
is
are
one
yes,
comrade, it is one thing for the United
yes,
Nations to come and supervise something. Now remember that was
yes,
only an election. After that there was Fumban and so on and so forth.
yes,
We are asking
yes.
for the document, the Treaty of Union, a copy of which the United Nations should be having in their archives to say, here is the document binding the former British Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. Have you seen one?
Oh, yes, there is something. Look, I know there's a debate like there's one.
Okay.
A sovereignty can be done by transfer of sovereignty. And I would like you
And
to
there still will be
see
a
this is how,
treaty document, isn't it?
yeah, there is a printed document for that. There is.
Yeah, so
If you look
where
at
have
the
you seen
archive,
that?
for example, yeah, but this is what happened. There is a document. Every treaty and international agreement entered by any member United after the present charter comes into force and shall as soon as possible be registered at the with the Secretariat of the UN, and then it's going to be published. Because I don't think that argument, my brother, that argument where people, I think, not mislead our brothers and sisters into thinking that there is no document attesting this. No, there was a matter of exchange of letters. The
Comrade,
governor general,
comrade, that is picking
yes,
and choosing. That is picking
yes,
and
okay,
choosing because
yes,
yes, there was a plebiscite, and we saw the results of the plebiscite. However,
yes,
1608 said there will be a meeting after the plebiscite that decides on the form of that country that was supposed to be Fumban. They left Fumban
yes.
without any agreement.
No, the
Yes.
agreement at Fumba, I don't. Well, but the agreement on the
The
agreement about the
article
form
of
of statement.
union, the articles of union were supposed to come out from Fumban. Nothing came out of it. That is why we are asking, prove that Southern Cameroons is part of French Cameroon.
Okay. Fumban came out with what was called, out of Fumban came what was the Federal Republic of Cameroon. I don't think I'm wrong about that. We have the Federal Constitution of 1961 that came out of Fumban. Now, I know some people wanted that they should go back to the parliament in Boya and sign out something. But there was no point in doing that because, one, the plebiscite was done, the result was very clear, and then the negotiation in Fumban came out with a federal structure. What I think, by contrast, we can be arguing on was the foundation onto which this country was created. Has it been respected? Yes or no? If it has not been respected, how can we respect it? So I think on the idea of saying that there will be a divided, we hadn't got any independence. No, we have had our independence. we searched
We had,
our.
I agree with you, we had our independence, which was then stolen between Fumban and 1972. You talk about the federal structure coming out from Fumban. You are very correct.
Yes.
Now, the federal structure
Exactly.
still empowered the former British Southern Cameroons to their elected officials, to their parliament, to their prime minister, to, I mean, every Anglo-Saxon institution that we had from 1954 in Delhi and the rest. But after Fumban and after 1972, everything vanished. A lot of people to Cameroon either took it to Yaoundé and destroyed it, or they destroyed it back right there on the soil. Now, you will agree we are where we are today in a war that has taken the lives of over 30,000 people, because since 1961, the same year that we voted for this federal system, the same year that we voted, we saw that it was all meant to liquidate the Southern Cameroons and our parents, forefathers. They started fighting for a return to where we are now. Had La République du Cameroon looked back and said, these people are talking sense. They are making sense. Let's go back to that federal structure, just as the teachers demanded, just as AAC 1 and 2 demanded. We wouldn't be here today, isn't it?
Yes, I think from 1961 to 1972, the federal system was respected. It was after 1972 that it was tampered with. But it was tampered with the collaboration and support of our forefathers, because all of them went for campaigns. All of them, when they were leaving Fumban, because I think there is a fixation on Article 47, but a constitution a la carte something. A constitution is read in its entirety. Article 2 of the Federal Constitution states that the national sovereignty shall be vested in the Cameroonian people, which shall exercise such sovereignty either through its deputies at the Federal Assembly or by way of referendum. If our forefathers really, there's something I don't want to say it, but if our forefathers read through that constitution properly, they would have understood that there is a problem along the line. But as I want to say, I want to repeat again, that argument on 1972, it holds, it gives some credibility, but it doesn't warrant that it should be weaponized. Most of our forefathers or our fathers before the new group of power were not violent. They wanted to correct the historical wrong through peaceful and legal means. I think the Southern Cameroon National Council was not a violent organization. Stood for correcting the wrong through peaceful and legal means. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to do things peacefully. And if we do things peacefully, we will command the support nationally and internationally. You will concur with me today. I saw some excerpts of some of images at Balangi. People are no longer supporting the movement.
Comrade, I will stop you. I will stop you a little bit there. When you say our forefathers did not support violence, or I mean whatever that you are trying to describe and referring to Balangi, let me ask you. After 60 years of those same forefathers saying we want a return to federation, we want a return to federalism, and the Yaoundé regime is just intransigent, does nothing. Instead, they pick up guns against innocent protesters. AAC 1 and 2 meet and they say time is running out. The teachers come and say 4 years or how many years, about 10 years after AAC2 and say, the time has come to go back. Remember, they were not asking for a free country, a new country, right? So for 61 years, all these forefathers you mentioned and our teachers said, let's go back. Even Agbobala, yourself, Cardinal Tumi said, let's go back. After doing so for 61 years, what? And the people sit in Yaoundé and look at you as a separatist. What do you have left? Other than taking up arms to defend your country. And by the way, they declared war on us. So when you talk about we picking up arms, they declared the war.
I can understand what you're saying, but I want to refer you to one gentleman. His call is Jenny Sharp. He's written a book called From Dictatorship to Democracy. You know, when you have a good cause and you decide to weaponize it, you give justification for a government to use proportional force against you. I think we have had a lot of things in this country, in the Northwest and Southwest, the University of Boya, the GCE board, democracy, without using any violence.
How about our own governors who are elected by the
our
people?
Governors?
Yes.
Well, if I understand, no, we don't have, our governors are not yet elected. But
No,
I think that was the reason why.
That we had this, we had that, without taking up weapons. So I'm asking you, how about our own indigenous leaders and governors and so-called SDOs and so on? Why can't we have them? Why must the people who lead Ambazonia always be from the other side, speaking French?
No. Now the thing is a national affair. And in the special statutes, the governors, the SDO have honorary positions. And with time, it's evolution, my brother. We never knew we would have the special statutes. Now we have it. Maybe tomorrow, when you come and participate at the next phase of the follow-up commission, you may bring up that, and then it can be evolved. I am always going back to the UK. I think I should take, even in the United States, the Constitution of the United States, if I'm not wrong, has been modified 26 or 27 times. And Cameroon is not an exception. I said at the beginning, we were a federal state. We came now, we are a unitary decentralized state. Who knows tomorrow whether we are going to go back? But my point is, one, we should not make people believe in things that are not feasible. Two, we should shun away violence. Because when we bring up violence, today we are the losers. Look at our regions. And the popular support that the movement that you are leading had in 2016, 2017, and 2018 is no longer what it is today.
No, you're making a big mistake there. I know you are reciting the talking points over in La Republic about the popular support you had in 2016. Comrade, they have announced this again and again. Paul Atanganji has been up in Babenda and saying the war is over. You have seen meetings upon meetings of the so-called Anglophone elite trying to get the IDPs to go back home. You yourself have been out there going to Nigeria to get Ambazonia restoration fighters to return to the ground, lay down their arms. Did you think that by this day, did you think that by today, this war will still be going on? There will still be anyone fighting? I'm asking this because you say that the spirit that we had in 2016 is no longer there. But you just see the boys have moved from then guns, from rubber guns to den guns to AKs to RPGs. How can you even think that that spirit is no longer there?
No, the spirit is no longer there because
No.
I was here on the ground.
I think you are wrong. I won't even let you make the further statement because you know that it is not true. Dion Gute cannot even go to his own county. What do you think about that? Dion Gute announced a conference for Indian and would not dare step there because of Amazonian restoration fighters.
No. The conference took place. It was not intended for the prime minister to go there. It was for the Indian people, the ordinary Indian people who went and met to discuss about their future.
The elites of Indian were not supposed to go there?
No, the elite of Jan, all elites of Jan were in Mundemba. I don't know who never went there.
Dion Gute is the chief early. And he made the campaign, he made the rounds in the newspaper. They bought newspaper covers to advertise Dion Gute as leading the strongest Indian delegation back to the homeland to galvanize the people, promise them jobs, promise that for the first time a road will leave Kumba to Kondo Titi. And think about that. But then why others went, he did not go.
No, he did not. I can say so to his discharge. It doesn't mean that he has to attend every meeting. That meeting was a meeting of the natives or the people of Ndian who wanted to have a come together, and it was just very normal for them to talk about the chief, who happens to be the prime minister of the country. It is not because he never went there that it was a resounding success. And even most of the armed fighters attended because it was for everybody. I just wanted to come to one point about the support. What has happened in Balangi before, you don't need to put people under duress to do something. And what I want as an enlightened person as you are is to tell our people, we are the losers in all these things. One, we are making a mass exodus of our people into French-speaking Cameroon. In 5 years and 10 years' time, they will become francophones. We cannot be saying that we want to preserve our people, and at the same time, we kidnap them, we take them for ransom, and then
Ellie, I get that talking point.
Yes,
I get that talking point. I know your guys, you will not in your heads. You are making the point now. Now, I see your avowed support for the Republic du Cameroon power over the Southern Cameroons. Many people have said that you take these positions because you are not originally from the Southern Cameroons, you are not Ambazonia. If you are liberal enough, can you tell us where you originally? Which one is your county in Ambazonia?
I will come back to that point, but I want to make something very clear. It is baseless and unfounded. They don't know who am I. First of all, I have been in Sudan. I have defended the Sudanese people without being a Sudanese. I have been in Congo. I have defended the people of Southern Congos and the entire people without being a Congolese.
So how can you defend foreigners, and when you come to your own people, you turn your back against them?
I have never turned my back on my people. My people, today, tomorrow, until I die, I will always defend the people of Southern Cameroon tooth and nail. But I will not carry them to a slaughterhouse. That is the reason why. For example,
so the question is, who are your people? Who are your people in the Southern Cameroons? Where do you come from?
I'm going to come. I want to bring it because there have been a kind of systematic campaign of calumny about that, and I don't regret about it.
That's why I'm asking the question. You have the opportunity to educate them.
What I do is I work tooth and nail to save lives. And I'm very happy when I tell a fighter that, look, gentlemen, you have fought a good fight. You stood against one of the strongest military in this region.
Eli,
but don't fight
the
forever.
problem with that,
Come
the
and
problem with
negotiate.
that, Eli, is when people see the campaign you carry out to get Ambazonian fighters to lay down their arms, they say you are doing so because you are not Ambazonian. Please tell them where you come from in Ambazonia.
No, I will not. No, I don't need to justify that. The time will come and they will know everything. I don't need to make any justification. I think those people who are asking people to go down and fight, if they were courageous enough, they can come and fight themselves.
Just say, I can sit here and tell you, hey, I'm from the BLM. I can sit here and say I'm from the BLM. Anybody else can say I'm from Bali. You cannot say it here where you come from in Amazonia.
No, I don't need to say it because I will not say it because it's not part of my ideology.
To say what your town or your village is where you were born?
It's not necessary. Where I was born, everybody knows where I was born. All my history is there. It's on the Facebook. I don't have anything to say about it. I mean,
just say, Ellie, look at your camera. Ellie, look at your camera and just say, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you that where I come from? I'm from Cambe."
I will not say whether I am from Cambe or I am from Bamuso. I will not say anything like that because I believe that I am a person, I don't like tribal or sectional attitude of doing things. I believe that every human being is a human being and must be treated not from where he comes from, but equally and with respect. That's the reason why I have been doing what I am doing. And I think those who want our people to go and fight and die,
Ellie, you are dodging the issue and the question. I don't know why it is a hard thing for you to do. You speak great English and everybody sees you as Ambazonian. You speak great English, but you cannot take one second to say I am from Womb, I am from Cambe, I am from Fako. Why?
I am whether from Fako, I am a Cameroonian. I'm not Ambazonian.
I will never say I'm Ambazonian. I am Ambazonian, Southern Cameroonian. I come from the BLM. You come from Bangante or what?
No, whether I come from Bangante or from Goglituba is not a problem. But the problem is that I am not an Ambazonian. And the problem people say is I ask or convince fighters to leave the bush because of that. No, I convince those boys to leave the bush because they are dying.
You are not one of them. You convince them to leave the bush because you are not one of them.
No. It's not like it's because
because if you can't sit here on television and say, "Hey, I come from Loom, or I come from."
I have told you I will not say it. It is not necessary.
Why?
It is not necessary at all.
What are you hiding about your heritage?
I will not say it is not necessary because Chris, I have been saying it before we had this. Before we went on
when you say
I had the same debate with someone.
When you say you will not say it, you are only lending credence to those who say that Ellie Smith is francophone. You may pretend to be Ambazonian, Southern Cameroonian.
Yes,
he is francophone.
Wait, no. Chris, even if I were francophone, I'm a Cameroonian and I'm a human being. And
no, I don't find with you over the fact that you are Cameroonian. I mean, your defense of Cameroon is evidence enough you are Cameroonian.
Yes, Chris, there is no logic. You cannot be claiming that you are being marginalized. You are fighting against marginalization and discrimination and turn around and start supporting it in a vicious form. It's just the same people who are saying this are the same people who are carrying a campaign to delegitimize the Bororo people in the Northwest, that they are not Southern Cameroonians.
No, that is a little bit different, Ellie. I mean, if you see...
No, it's the same. You see, francophone.
You see, ever before the conflict, it was normal to say, "Hey, Ellie, where do you come from? Chris, where do you come from?" No. Right?
Well, that is. I have never shared those ideas. I don't want to attach myself to that. It is my ideology.
I assume that. You don't want to claim your Southern Cameroons nationality. So even those who want to call you a federalist, you are not a federalist for Anglophones, as they will put it. You are just maybe a good Francophone who thinks that Anglophones deserve federalism, isn't it?
No, listen. No, I don't think that is a kind of minor thing to stand around to be haggling around. I think we need to talk about serious things. And I repeat, I understand the pains and the disappointment of people who say, okay, why is it that he is trying to convince people not to fight? No, I do that simply because I see every day a number of young men and girls being killed, and no right-thinking human being will accept it to be done.
And so that made you to hide your nationality. Let's touch on one thing before we call it a day. I would like to show you an image here on my screen. I like to show you an image here. Ask whether, do you know this lady?
I've not seen the picture.
Oh, this picture is right there in front of you.
No, I've not seen it.
The picture, I mean the picture of the lady you see on the screen there.
Yeah, I'm just seeing on the profile. I cannot see her face properly, but if you could help me to tell the lady who is she, I'll know what to say.
This image, the picture of this lady, I've forgotten the name. I actually have the name somewhere. But this picture was sent out by Success in Congo. And this is supposed to be the girlfriend of Colonial Prime Minister Dion Ngute. She was out in Nigeria leading a delegation to take back some amber fighters back to Cameroon, just as we did previously with Success in Congo and the rest. Now, Success in Congo has made lots and lots of accusations against Dion Ngute, that Dion Ngute is taking money from the presidency and not giving their share of it. He is essentially the one standing on the way of progress, ending the war. I know that you work very closely with Dion Ngute. What can you tell us about this? What the allegations that Success in Congo is making out there against your boss?
First of all, I am not aware of any allegation that Success is making. I know Success very well. He's a younger brother. I went to Nigeria to convince him to come to Cameroon, and he made a good choice to forgo the adventure he was following. He came back to Cameroon. He's a patriotic Cameroonian, but I'm not aware of any declarations
can enter Cameroon today?
Yes, he can come to Cameroon as freely as possible. He is a patriotic Cameroonian who came back and has also convinced some of his brothers who were misguided, some brothers and sisters who were misguided, to come back to the family. So he can always come back to Cameroon without any problems. Cameroon is open. And you yourself, Chris, you can always come back to your country.
Well, you know, I rejected that country a long time ago. You know that, over 5 years ago. And
okay,
we're never returning there.
Nope.
Now, early, let's
but
get
the country, the country needs people like you who are courageous. The country needs all her sons and daughters to come back and help in nation building. Like the positions you are talking about, the governors, when you come back, it's going to work.
Our country is Ambazonia, and we are looking forward to our own leaders and not colonial leaders. Thank you about that, though, for the compliment. Let's get to the Swiss initiative. The Cameroon government has said that they are not meeting with the Swiss. They will not want the Swiss government to mediate between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon. With your connections there on the ground, can you give us insight why the Cameroon government says they are not meeting with the Swiss?
Oh, first of all, I think I tweeted, I don't know why I don't have that tweet. I said that Swiss initiative is dead and buried. The Swiss, I think they are boxing above their weight. And secondly, I have never seen in my life as a reporter.
Is it attributable to the Swiss or to Cameroon refusing to be part of it?
As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, the government of Cameroon is peace-loving. The president of Cameroon in Paris made a mea maxima culpa in recognizing the error that they have committed. And they have since then they are firing all cylinders for peace to return, and they are doing their dialogue. And there is no reason why we have always, the cardinal told the Swiss envoy, the Swiss ambassador, he is today in Brasilia. We are Cameroonians, we are 60 years old, we are matured enough. You can bring us together, but you don't need to be there. Why is it that the Swiss are always so interested in Cameroon? That's my question I've always asked myself.
Comrade, when you say the Swiss are very interested in Cameroon, you got to know that Paul Biya is a Swiss citizen, so no doubt they are interested in Cameroon. But let me say this. When you talk about, this thing, Cameroon can take care of itself, I mean, haven't you guys come to the terms of the fact that there are two countries here that we're talking about, the Southern Cameroons and French Cameroon?
That is history. We cannot refuse that there was an entity called Southern Cameroon, which has morphed 3 times. It morphed to become West Cameroon after reunification. Then later on, it became provinces of the Northwest and Southwest, and now the regions of the Northwest and Southwest. They have their specificities, and that has been addressed in what is called a special status.
If anybody addressed that, remember, the Swiss will not be there trying to mediate, isn't it?
I think the Swiss should concentrate about whether they will become members of the European Union or not, whether they are going to keep the money of the family of Vladimir Putin or not. They have other better things to do than wanting to nose into the internal problems of Cameroon. In the DNA of this country, we learn to solve our problems by ourselves.
Not with Southern Cameroonians. Yeah, maybe in the DNA of La République du Cameroon, citizens of La République du Cameroon are not Ambazonia. Southern Cameroon is not inclusive because it is long gone.
No, Southern Cameroon became West Cameroon, and today it is the provinces of the Northwest or the regions of the Northwest and Southwest.
Well, you are quoting history. You are quoting history, and you know that 5 years ago that was put to an end. You guys in Yaoundé can say no, it's a figment of their imagination, but I think you are seeing the reality on the ground. So let's get back to the Swiss. I guess you are saying that
yes.
Cameroon is determined. They are not sitting down with the Swiss to mediate.
Well, I'm not a government official, but from what I know...
No, but you speak very authoritatively.
I speak with everybody, with the Swiss themselves. We may disagree, but I tell them my mind. And if they are honest, I told them that they should allow Cameroonians to solve their problems. And they have not listened to that. What they have to do is that, for example, are they an element or a vehicle of peace? I have my doubts.
What do you think they
Prior to
are?
the
What
holding,
do you think the Swiss are?
I think the Swiss are like all imperialists and colonialists. They are interested in to have something in Cameroon. If there were people who were encouraging peace prior to the major national dialogue, they would have encouraged those who opted to go at Montreux to talk there to come to Cameroon or send
You
their
mean
designated people.
when you mention Montreux, you're referring to the CDN gathering there, right?
Yeah, I think it was CDN or prior to the CDN, there was a meeting that took place there. But I think between you and I'm not regretting it. I think the Swiss should mind their business.
All right.
Cameroon is not the Central African Republic. Cameroon is not Colombia. Cameroon is not Philippines. Cameroon is not the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Cameroon has its head solidly fixed on its shoulders and they are walking straight up. Yes, there is a problem.
Again,
and Cameroonians
I
can
agree
solve
with
their
you
problems.
when you say Cameroon because Cameroon ends at the Mongo. Ellie, please, let me open the phones. We'll take a few callers before I let you go, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now open the phone lines. If you have a question, a comment for Ellie Smith, please, the phone lines are open for you to make those calls. You have the phone lines right there on the screen. I get the first caller here. Wow, okay, let's see. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hey, yes, good Chris. Good afternoon. Ellie, good afternoon, and it should be evening to you guys there. And thanks for accepting to come and answer some questions and talk with us Amazonians. I have just a few questions for you. You may consider them. Again, let me introduce myself, Sebastian Barrico. These questions may look probably funny to you, but let me ask you. It is alleged that our president Ayok Tabe, that is locked up in Konenge, was allegedly given 4 million francs CFA, and the check, you actually saw the check that was written to him. That story came from Barrister So, that you actually saw the check that was written to Seseko Ayok Tabe, and you had an idea that he was building a military in Balange. Second question is, how much money did you and...
Hold on there, sir. Hold on there, sir. Let's not make it too lengthy for him to forget. Ellie, did you see a check in the amount of 4 million meant for Seseko Ayok Tabe for
400 million?
400 million.
No. Whoever floated that colossal, I don't know where. It's just a fool of his imagination. 400 million. No, that's big money. I've never seen such an amount of money.
Okay, Sebas, the second question, he says, no, he never saw a check for 400 million. What's the second question?
No, that's money. Nobody, I've never seen an amount of money. Okay. Can I get my second question?
Second question, please.
Yes, my second question is still on alleged corruption. How much money did you and Banque give to Chris Ano to give part of it to Cometa?
Look, that's absolutely, that's the problem. No. This is Chris Ano I'm speaking with. I don't know the last time I spoke with Chris Ano. Where and how will I be able to take such an amount of money? And by the way, who am I to do such a thing? No. The problem that I'm sorry to maybe that you people have, which is a disappointment to the people on the ground, is this peddling of falsehood and lying and infighting. I have never given anything to Chris. And by the way, the name you are calling are people that I also hear their names on air. Banqui, everybody knows the security person. What business do I have to do with him? I think the problem of the persons who are saying that is that they just want to destroy the character of Mr. Chris Anu. And the reason why people down here are so disappointed. And I am encouraging you people to
But Ellie,
nice ways of doing things.
Ellie, you understand where the caller is coming from, because there are deals in which you have been involved, either carrying money or carrying information to the other side. I don't know whether you watched the interview that I made with, what is the name of that lady? A white lady who said you were the middle person transporting money and making negotiations between La République du Cameroon, the Prime Minister Office, Banqui, and the ADF.
Pure lies. Again, that white lady, I saw that interview. You know, that white lady is not very different from people who think that they want to. You know, I have been accused of many things. I am many things to many people. Some people read only on the back of the book. They have not read the book in itself. It's lies. I have no dealings with anybody whatsoever. I have not given weapons to the ADF. I have not given weapons to anybody. If I had that type of money,
did you negotiate any between Yaoundé and the ADF? Did you ever get involved with some negotiations?
No, I have never. My objective is what I can say without any shame, and I'm proud of, is that I work every day to take the boys out of the bush. Fine, but
you were in Nigeria. You went to Nigeria when Sisiko was picked up. Is it?
No, when Sisiko was picked up in Nigeria, I wasn't there. At what
time did you go to Nigeria? Was it when you were trying to get fighters to Ground Zero?
Yes, I've been going to Nigeria regularly, but the only time I went to Nigeria is when I went to convince General Nambere and Success and the other fighters to come to Cameroon.
So what do you make of the fact that General Nambere is now so bitter and regrets ever laying down his arms? In fact, he is out of Cameroon now, running away from the same regime that promised him heaven on earth.
No, well, Nambere is my son, is my brother. He is allowed. He has the right to express his anger or reservation. He is not in prison. He has the right to leave Cameroon and come back. As I talked about Success, they have rights to come here and go back, just as you and any other person. But talking about the amount of money they are peddling around, that I work with it. If I have such an amount of money, I will be in Bahamas. I will not be here. I'll be in Bahamas with a bottle of champagne and cigar.
Do you mean to say that Nambere is richer than you because he is in Nigeria?
No, Nambere may have gone to Nigeria.
All right, let's get to Cameroon. Let's get to the phones and get some callers coming. Make their contributions. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bamenda.
Okay, and 50 seconds, sir. What is your question or comment?
Yes, I'm not calling to ask questions to Mr. Ellie Smith. I just want to acknowledge a few things about him. People like Ellie Smith are the people who have separated this country. They are the people who have caused Ambazona to resolve that they will have their own country. Because you come on the screen and you are saying like you evaded every question that has been asked to you, Mr. Ellie Smith. You even say that Ambazona picked up guns against the regime, whereas it has been operation from 1961. Everything you have said is lies. It is people like you are an enemy to those Francophones. They are Francophones who acknowledge that Anglophones have problems. And in their opinion, according to them, they should sit down and discuss. But you come here and give the impression that they don't have any problem, that what they are doing is unreasonable. But Mr. Ellie Smith, let me tell you, the ship has gone, the train has gone very, very far. Yes. And people like you, Mr. Ellie Smith, people can only be described by one word: evil. You are a man. You are a man of great evil.
Okay, all right.
You are a man of evil.
Okay.
And you cannot change anything. You cannot stop anything.
All right,
evil.
sir. You made the point. We make the point. No matter the direction that people take, we try to be dignified as possible here. All right. So, but Ellie, you can understand where these people are coming from. When you come on a set like this, and you cannot even tell people where you come from, people are disappointed.
It is not necessary. No,
but
it's
let's
not
get to this caller
necessary.
here. Hello. 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 Lost that caller. Ellie, if you have to say something. Oh, did I lost him?
Yeah, I wanted. What I wanted to say was that
you are off camera. I can't see you. You are not on. You are not in camera. Okay, there you go.
No, okay, yes, I'm on camera. I wanted to say those allegations being brought against you, claiming that they are not founded. I think that the struggle was not about a person or persons. It was about to help people who had founded grievances. And the reason why this struggle is having problems is when people have this type of lies and try to destroy the characters of their fellow brothers and sisters. I have never helped any organization. I cannot promote violence. On the contrary, what I want is that peace should return, justice should return to the people, and that what the majority of people want should be achieved. And when we participated in major national dialogue,
saying that what the majority of Ambazonians want should be achieved, correct? Are you in line with that?
Well, if it is done peacefully, you know,
I don't understand when you say peacefully. Ellie, I don't understand when you say peacefully when you know they declared war on them. They did not just pick up arms.
I can understand that there was a declaration of
war. The
war,
United Nations has even called upon them to declare a ceasefire, and they will not even agree to a ceasefire, and you expect those who are defending their freedoms to lay down their arms?
But those who are defending their freedom, they should not, because I think
they should not defend their freedoms?
No, look, everybody is required to defend his freedom, but you should do that peacefully. If you want to attain federalism,
how about La République? How about La République du Cameroon doing this peacefully and not killing 30,000 people? You know of Ngaribu, you know of Moyoka, you know of Pinyin, you know of Bali, you know of Guzan. Come on, why are you not saying to them, you can negotiate with these people, you can talk to these people, you can meet with these people? Why should it be the people you know fighting for their freedoms that should lay down their arms?
No, they are talking with people.
Who are the people?
Are open for no, the thing is that if you people are open for negotiation or talks, they will talk with you people. The government is open, and that's the reason why I think they organize a major national dialogue.
All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello, where are you calling from, sir?
Hello, Secretary Chris. I'm calling from Germany. My name is Cyprian.
Okay, you have 50 seconds, sir, so others can be able to call. Go on.
Okay, Secretary Chris, I want to first thank you for bringing at times this enabler so that we can give you some public flogging. So my question goes to Mr. Ellie Smith. Mr. Ellie Smith, you claimed some minute ago that the Ambazonian struggle has become unpopular. And this is my question to you. Do you think that at this moment, if the Ambazonian Amazonian people, they have the freedom to go out again and demonstrate their will for independence without being cracked down by La Republique terrorist military. Do you mean that because the struggle is, according to you, the struggle is unpopular, are you insinuating that Ambazonia will not go out to do that if they have the opportunity to go out without being cracked down by the La Republique terrorist military? Second question and the last question is, you think that if this struggle is unpopular, if the Amazonia offer a referendum, they will vote to stay as slave in La Republique because the struggle has become unpopular? That is my question to you, sir. Thank you, Secretary Chris. Thank you for this great job. God bless you. Amazonia till independent, till freedom comes. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Eddie, please take a few seconds to address that. Would you reject a referendum for Ambazonians to choose where they want to go?
No, I wouldn't reject. That's a democratic right. You have a right to choose wherever you want to go to. But I think it should be done, I repeat, that can be done only through peaceful means. For example, in South Sudan, the Southern Sudanese did not go for a referendum while fighting. It stopped. There was a transition period, and you have to talk. So I think that you will never attain anything through violence. And I also think that we are in a world whereby people are coming together. There is no point to be fighting to divide.
All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Okay. Is it a comment or a question, sir? Go on.
A question. I have a question for Mr. Ellie Smith.
Go on, please.
Yes, Mr. Ellie Smith says his main responsibility is to get the boys out of the bushes because he doesn't want them to die, which implies that he's trying to make us believe that he cares about the lives of our boys so much, despite the fact that those that have been slaughtered in massacres, we have not heard him come out to say a word about them or to express any sympathy for what has happened to them. So my question to Mr. Smith is this: if you care so much about the lives of Ambazonian fighters whom you say are done, why aren't you expressing the same concern about the lives of La République du Cameroon soldiers whose brains are splattered all over the territory of Ambazonia? They are blown to pieces every day. Why don't you tell them to drop down their weapons and stop fighting too? Since you care about, don't you care about their own lives too? I want him to explain to us.
All right.
Why do you care so much only about the Ambazonian fighters and not La Republique soldiers who are dying too in their numbers?
All right. Thank you. Let him take a few. Let him take 1 minute to answer. Eli, let me put a question this way, and please make it brief so that we can give others the opportunity to call. If you are so concerned about this war and the killings, why are you not saying to Cameroon, please call back your soldiers to the barracks? Are you not concerned about the death of Cameroon soldiers?
Well, I'm concerned about the death of every human being. And the problem of asking the soldiers to withdraw is simply because you are not here. Once the soldiers withdraw from a locality, there is chaos. There is one example in Kimbo. That was in 2017, if I'm not wrong. People came, made pressure that they should withdraw the military. And the bishop, he's alive. You can call him and ask him, Bishop Nkea. He was a bishop, now he's an archbishop. They went and pressured the senior divisional officer to withdraw the soldiers. Immediately the soldiers withdrew. A motorcade of Ambazonian fighters came and wreaked havoc in those areas. The military are there to support. I'm not trying to say the military, they are perfect. They do commit some problems, some atrocities. and which is not unique to our own soldiers, but they are there to support the people. If they were not there, I
I
bet
don't know. I don't get it when you say they are there to support the people, and yet we are seeing Ngarebo, we are seeing Pinyin,
we are.
we are seeing Guzan,
Yes,
we are seeing Bali,
yes,
we are seeing
good.
Keke. I mean, how do we say that
Yes,
the
but
military are there to support the people? Baby Mata, the children in
yeah, but
Kumba,
what
Baby Mata.
you are kind of economical. You have forgotten to mention the Amber onto Amber massacre that takes place, the merry-go-round of massacres.
I have
What
just
happened
named
in
these places,
Kumbu?
named the Amber massacres with mass
What?
graves.
Yeah, because yes, because
Can you
the
name any
Ambazonians killed
Amber
themselves
massacre
every
with
day.
mass
Now,
graves like in Garibu and
good. Now
Guzan
let me
just
come
2
about
weeks
the
ago?
Ngaribu incident. Yes, let me come about the Ngaribu incident. It is a sad incident that happened, but an investigation was carried out, and the culprits were arrested and prosecuted.
And where are
And
they?
the
Behind
incident that
bars?
happened, they are behind bars as we speak.
Which
Bars.
bars are they behind?
They are in the
Because we don't
prisons
know them. They are not
of
in
Cameroon,
Kondege. They are not in Douala.
in
They are not
Bamenda.
anywhere. They are living as free men because, according to those who fund the war, they did just a good job. Anyway, let's get to the next caller, please. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Well,
Hello.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Go on.
Yeah, good evening, Chris. Thank you, and your effort well appreciated. My question
you.
to Ellie Smith is this. You've given a timeline for Southern Cameroon distortion. From 1961, Southern Cameroon moved to West Cameroon, and finally in 1984, which you didn't mention, where Bia used the stroke of the pen to transform the whole territory to Northwest and Southwest, and all the other atrocities. Now, I'm asking Ellie Smith, have you thought about the fact that all the atrocities, be it politically, culturally, economically, that have been committed in Southern Cameroon, if we flip the coin the other way around, that all of these were done to French Cameroon, how could it have been? Have you ever thought about that?
It appears that I lost Ellie Smith. I see his image is. Oh, he's back. Okay, he's listening to you. All right, Ellie, did you get a question?
no, can you repeat the question to me, please?
Can I
Because
repeat
we
the
got
question?
interrupted.
Did you get
Can
a
you
question,
repeat?
Ellie?
No, sir. Can you repeat
All right,
it to
repeat
me,
the question,
please?
please.
Yes, what I'm saying is, Ellie Smith has given the timeline of Southern Cameroon in a union with La Republic. 1961, it was called Southern Cameroon. It moved to West Cameroon. And to the state where in 1984, BI used a stroke of the pen to dismember the entire territory into Northwest and Southwest, plus other atrocities. Economic atrocity, cultural atrocities, political atrocities. Ellie Smith, have you asked yourself if all of these things have been done to the Anglophone Cameroon or Southern Cameroon, we flip the coin the other way around, that it was done to French-speaking Cameroon, how could they have been feeling? Have you ever thought about that?
All right, Ellie, I hope you heard that. Go ahead, please, and try and answer. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Yeah, but please, but there's one final part I did not hear. I heard about the changes that he said, but the final question, I did not get it. What did he say?
The final question was Cameroon kept on changing the Southern Cameroons in 1961 from federation to unitary state, and then finally 1984 it became Northwest and Southwest. What if the coin was flipped over and this was Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon, doing it to French Cameroon? Would you support it?
No, I will not support it. I'm a legalist. I have always said that, and I repeat it here without fear or favor of anything, is that the root cause of what we are having today is the end of the federal system in 1972. I'm also mindful that the president then was very skillful. He exploited the loopholes in the constitution of 1972 to do it. And I believe in the fact that the laws should be respected. and that most crises that we have in Africa today, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, is almost always because the fundamental laws of those countries have been tampered with.
All right, Ali, let's get the next caller. Hello.
Hello, sir, Mr. Chris.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the US, sir.
What state?
I really want to thank you for much of the efforts that you've been doing, but I have a question for Mr. Ellie Smith. And before my question comes on, I really want to let him know that when the president was in France, are you getting me, sir?
Yes, sir. 5 on 5. Go on.
When the president was in France for the Paris Peace Conference, he made a statement that we are very much aware of the history of our country. And as a matter of fact, we the Amazonians, we have a well-equipped knowledge of our country. But my question goes thus: why all this while, for about 5 years today, Mr. Ellie Smith was one of the elites that stood, when the war started, to try to communicate, from the standpoint of the heartbeat of the people. But from the way he speaks, he is not speaking like someone whom the people trusted. And so there are not much wisdom. Are you getting me, sir?
Yes. Finish our place.
I want to ask him if all this while that he has been struggling to.
Well, your network is not good, sir. Your network is not good. Let's take the last caller and we call it a day. Let's get the last caller and we'll call it a day. All right. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from, sir? I can hear you.
I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, and what is your question or contribution?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ellie Smith, thank you for bringing him over. So, Mr. Ellie Smith, this is somebody that during the early days of this revolution, he was one of those voices that spoke a lot of sense over the television stations, prime times in Cameroon. My question to him is, what happened? What happened to him that now he's speaking at both sides of his mouth now? And we noticed that there are some audios out here that Ellie Smith was calling fighters during the National Grand Dialogue. So I was sending money for them to come to the dialogue. My question to Ellie Smith was that if you were genuine in what you were doing, why do you have to coerce fighters the way you were doing and doing it covertly if you knew that you were doing the right thing? And then my third question is, can you be sincere here to tell us how much money, how much are you on a contract with the government? Because the change from who you were to what you are today speaks a lot of volume. And the last question is that I think I'll just leave it like that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sir Ellie. That is quite a lot there. And I think you delve into one of the questions that I earlier asked. You were a great reporter, commentator, journalist, and you stood against abuse of rights that we see in the Southern Cameroons. But suddenly you became a contractor for a lot of people to Cameroon, taking money to war fighters to return to the ground. You just said that. You went to Nigeria to get fighters back to the ground. Were you
No,
bribed, or what just so changed you that way? 90 degrees.
no, I've not changed. I'm constant like the Rock of Gibraltar. My problem is that I don't support violence. And secondly, I have a contract with nobody. I work with a media house that pays me properly and I live a decent life. Secondly, I am still a an unapologetic Southern Cameroonian. I know the rights of Southern Cameroonians, and I am for dialogue. And I repeat,
Well, you
to
make it difficult
convince
for me. You make it difficult for me and the audience to believe you are Southern Cameroonian because I asked you for like 3 minutes. You will
okay,
not say
I'll
where you
leave
come
that
from.
one. No, I'll leave it. It is not necessary. I am a Cameroonian. I don't want to talk about that one because there's this fixation about it. But
Well, the day
I
that you
have not
become
changed.
a
My
Southern Cameroonian,
position.
don't be worried about that. We will still give you, we will still issue you your passport.
All right. Yes, I'll be happy to have the passport anyway. But listen, I have not changed. My point is that I will always defend people who are marginalized, who are where there's injustice. I will always defend them. And I think that it is important to fight, but do it without any violence, like Martin Luther King did it in the United States, or Mahatma Gandhi did it where in India. Weaponizing any genuine cause like what is happening doesn't help. And I still think, and I would say it, I know some people will be angry about it. The question on independence has been
Again, Ellie, that
solved
is
once
where you
and
make a mistake because when you keep saying that you don't want violence, Ambazonians did not declare war. La Republique declared war. You should really be preaching this sermon to Prime Minister Ngute and Paul Biya. They are the ones, and Paul Atanganji. They declared war. Ambazonia did not declare war. When you talk about violence, please reach out to them. Let's get the last caller here and we'll call it a day, please.
but
Thank you.
look, look at what is happening. Okay, yes.
Hello, Secretary Chris. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the great state of Indiana. I just have one question here for Mr. Ellie Smith.
Okay.
After listening to him today, I begin to understand why sometimes they call us like we are fools. If he thinks this country is one Cameroon, and as he was talking from the beginning, why would the military be burning houses of other Cameroonians? And they are there that they are trying to protect the people. Where would the people go if in case this war is over tomorrow? If you are burning their homes, it means you are telling them you are not Cameroonians, you guys need to go. So he needs to just tell us exactly what the mission is that he is working for the Republic, trying to tell us that we are one Cameroon. But when they are burning houses of innocent people and telling them you guys need to leave.
That's a legitimate, Ellie, when soldiers are burning settlements, burning whole villages, and wanting at the same time the world to believe that they are Cameroonians. If you are killing Amba soldiers, I don't care about that because they are combatants. But burning harmless, armless homes with people sleeping in there, how does it even make sense to describe such people as brothers?
Well, it is true that was at the beginning of this war. That was at the beginning of this war when there were such incidences, which is sad. I don't think it is going on anymore. There are no soldiers burning down villages anymore. It happened, and it is unfortunate.
Over 400 settlements, not just homes, but settlements. How do you even say that the people who did that are brothers? And none of them have been punished. You know that. And you expect when they burn. Let me give you a practical example. Ellie, I don't know whether you know this. You know that I no longer have a family home in the BLM, right? How do you expect me to see those who burnt our memories of yesteryears to see them as brothers? Think about it. When I can no longer go back home, I could not even bury my own father at home. You think that you truly see them as these colonial officials as brothers?
It is rather unfortunate what happened when there will be a time whereby those who did those kind of things will be brought to book and punished. But that doesn't mean that you are a Christian, Chris. It is not because I wrong you, you have to wrong me in return.
How do you punish them, comrade? How do you come to that time where they have to be punished when you cannot even agree to go to a dialogue table, negotiation table, when you cannot even punish those you have in your custody, those who caused a massacre in Garebo? You want me to believe that those who burn our compound will be brought to justice? When is that going to happen?
Those who burn, those who carried out the massacre at Garebo have been prosecuted. It's just the same as there was an incident that happened in Bamenda where a trigger-happy police officer shot a girl. He was arrested and prosecuted. It is true when there are incidences like that, it happens. It's unfortunate. And it's not just the preserve of the Cameroonian security forces. Look at what the U.S. forces did at Abu Ghraib, and look at what they did in Kabul. But which means that it can happen. But my point here is rather unfortunate for your case and others, and I am pained at that. But we think we are all brothers and sisters. The solution is to dialogue. The solution is to make concession.
Well,
and that can only come when there is love.
You call dialogue, and dialogue hasn't come. Your people don't want to come to the dialogue table, and so the war continues.
They are willing to come.
I'm sorry?
They are willing to come. That is why there was a major national dialogue. The people whom I think they don't want to come,
Ellie, you are an intelligent, smart person. You know that even the U.S. condemned that thing as a sham. Come on. Well, anyway, I want to appreciate you so much for coming on board to take some of these questions. Unfortunately, you are only an advocate out there and maybe a contractor too. You really don't have the solution to these problems. But I want to thank you for coming and taking the little hit, and I hope that we can do this again some other time. Thank you for showing up, sir.
Thank you too for having me here. It also shows that you people have matured up to have someone who has a different or contradictory voice. I really appreciate it, and I think we need to continue talking, and we will have a solution to our problems one day.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I look forward to talking with you again some other time. You have a good night, sir.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ellie Smith. Ellie Smith coming in to respond to a few burning questions of the day. I think he's giving us a little insight as to how the minds in La République du Cameroon are thinking when it comes to mediation, when it comes to dialogue, when it comes to laying down arms or ceasefire, many of these things. And unfortunately, I am really disappointed that Ellie Smith could not just take 50 seconds to say he is Amazonian from so and so county. I pressed on him for about 2 to 3 minutes to know where he hails from in Amazonia. Ellie Smith could not. He avoided it. He argued it. He pretended it is not necessary. But again, that is only if you were out there doubting who he is. I think after watching and listening to him, you can truly say Ellie Smith is not Amazonian, is not Southern Cameroonian. He is Cameroonian, as he kept on saying. And so we are not surprised when he leads campaigns out there to go to Nigeria to seduce our fighters to lay down their arms and go back home. I hope you got something out of that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Ground Zero, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish I could take more calls, but I cannot. Remember, lockdown continues tomorrow through Friday, ending 6 p.m. on Friday. Please, things will not look good out there. Please don't step out and get killed by a stray bullet. Stay home. Your children going to school, let them stay home throughout the week. No common entrance this week. Nothing. Any vehicle seen outside will be considered vehicle remaining to French Cameroon forces. And if it is shut down and you are in there, you would have nobody to blame. Again, thank you so very much for tuning in. I look forward to coming back here later in the week, possibly on Wednesday. But remember, I got some good news that I will be bringing to you on Friday when we launch ABS special fundraiser. I really want to appeal to you out there. If you appreciate what ABS is doing here, please join the broadcast on Friday. Support support ABS with your $50, $100, $500, $1,000. We mean on taking ABS to the next level. So please, I look forward to seeing you on that very special fundraiser on Friday. I probably will be back before then, but I want to thank you. I'd like to thank you for tuning in and staying put. God bless you all. Stay safe and look forward to being back. Good night.